So I want to say congrats on your mixtape that's coming out tonight. This is your first solo project after Why Don't We? And you've shared that you went through a rough year with your mental health and the lawsuit and everything. So how does it feel to finally just be free and introduce yourself to the world as an independent artist?
Yeah, it feels exactly that. It feels freeing. It feels like the next step in this journey of life, and I feel proud to have pushed through some of that hard stuff and know that I'm still me and I'm okay, and um, my friends are still my friends, and it's like it's been a it's taught me a lot, and I think I'm a better person because of it.
Yeah, and I really think that shows like you can just get through anything, and it's all about surrounding yourself with people who really care about you. So you should be really proud of yourself.
Thanks.
And you've worked with Jason Koenig and Ryan Lewis on this mixtape, and you've mentioned that Ryan has been one of your musical inspirations. So this was like a full circle moment for you.
Definitely.
What's something you've learned that has really stuck with you from collaborating with Jason and Ryan as a solo artist? Because it's obviously like a whole different process from recording with Why Don't We?
Yeah, massively different. I think that just like relationship with them is so important, and that we're on the same page and we're friends first before working together. Um, and then having it be fun, like that's a big thing of like, if we're not having fun doing this, why are we doing this? And that's something that they've taught me for sure. And really pushing for the best idea in excellence, whatever our view of excellence is, each of us, and elevating each other and wanting the best for each other. Um, it's a really interesting, working working in a three-way uh, partnership like that. It's been cool. It's been cool, and like I said, I like you said, I grew up listening to Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. That was like one of my favorite albums growing up. So um, being able to really know Ryan on a personal level and create with him has been such a great thing. Such a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And did Jason have any prior recording experience before this? Because I know he does like a lot of videos and stuff like that.
No, yeah, he hadn't. I think he'd been around a lot of writing sessions, like videoing or in the room or whatever, but this has really been his first time stepping into more of a writing role. Um, and so yeah, I think this is new territory for him, which I think was exciting for him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I really like how this mixtape has a song for everyone. It's got like alternative vibes, pop punk, pop acoustic.
Yeah.
So did you go into the studio knowing what types of genres you wanted to include in this mixtape, or did you kind of experiment with different sounds during the production process?
Yeah, I didn't go in knowing what it was going to sound like at all, or even an idea of what it was going to sound like. We just kind of started tinkering around with the instruments in the room, and um, some prior beats that Ryan had that he pulled up that I was like, oh, that's really cool. We should write to that. And I mean, different songs came together in different ways, but I would say it was pretty much usually kind of following some sort of trail of the flow of what the song
Mhm.
be.
Yeah, and you're already getting so much positive feedback already from your fans, so that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's been amazing to see everyone's reaction, and um, I feel really lucky that people care, you know.
Yeah. And you've shared that Twisted Lullaby is about having imposter syndrome and feelings of doubting yourself. Did you have any moments where you were kind of hesitant about expressing your vulnerability and sharing it with the world? And what influenced you to channel your kind of darker thoughts into the song? Because I know you've mentioned that Jason asked you to write down some stuff that you don't want to say publicly, really, in like as a writing prompt.
Yeah, I came in that day with the idea of I'm hearing voices in my head tonight, and I really was the night before. I wasn't sleeping very much, and I was really worried about what's the next step for me? Where is my life headed? I don't know. Do I need to stay with my same manager? Do I need to sign with a major label? Like what, you know, I had a lot of these ideas that are like, this means successful artist or this doesn't. And I was really kind of torn. And I came in and Jason was just like, what do you think the hardest things are to say right now? What are those voices? What are they actually saying in your head? And that's what prompted me to sit down and kind of sit in the window and write that whole first verse and into the hook. And yeah, I think it's I was a little like hesitant to like say those things because it's just like raw and real, but then it's also like that's what art should be, right? That's
Mhm.
it can be raw and real and put it out into the world. It can make others feel safe to also talk about their stuff. Um, and I think everyone's going through their own version of that at times in life. And um, I don't want it to feel like we have to hold that in and fake it, you know.
Yeah, and that was like the perfect first single to put out too. Like you just went all out and shared that. So
I
I
feel
love
like
it.
very like, hey, this is what's been going on. This is my,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
And so I have to say A Million Midnights is my favorite song from the mixtape. And I feel like it's just the perfect song to blast like on a late night drive. I love the acoustic pop vibes. How did that song come together?
That song came together on a trip up to Washington. My Ryan, my producer, has a cabin studio up there, and I brought my friend Liza up there. She's an amazing songwriter, and we all hung out. And that song was one of a few that came that weekend. And yeah, I was sort of inspired. I had been hanging out with a couple friends who are a couple, and I was kind of third wheeling a lot, and I was so inspired like their like fairy tale love vibe that was happening that I was just like, I want that so bad. And what would that feel like? And I was really like, I'm such a, I'm like a big rom-com fan. I'm
Yeah.
like hopeless romantic guy. So like I wanted a song that could capture that.
And I feel like this song could definitely be in a rom-com or like coming of age movie.
Yeah, I think
So good.
that's what we're going for.
And you're going on your first solo tour, which is super exciting. What are you looking forward to the most for this tour? And are you currently planning any production aspects, like what you want the stage setup to be like with any props and stuff?
Yeah, I'm so excited for the tour. I'm most excited to just see fans again and
Mhm.
the actual hanging out and interaction with fans. That's like I get so much energy from that, and I love meeting people in different cities, and I'm excited to sing all the songs together. And it just feels like I've been trying to go on tour since 2020. You know what I mean? It's been a
It's been a
long
while.
and there's been different obstacles that have come up in between, and it feels like finally, okay, I get to do this, and I'm so excited. And in terms of the stage setup, I'm bringing my two friends, Isaac and Bennett, guitarist and drummer, and they actually play other instruments too. So we'll see what we'll get creative. I'm gonna play piano a lot on stage, and um, we're working on some production element ideas. We're about to get into like I'm about to get into rehearsals, and I feel like in a few weeks from now I'll have a better answer about what like, but I know it'll be a really, really fun night. I can promise that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to the LA show, so
You're coming.
I'm
Yay.
ready. And you've recently done a couple fan meetup events, and I personally love when artists have in-person events to celebrate their new music because it's like so intimate and you get to really put a face to people who listen to your music.
Yeah.
And like nowadays, a lot of artists aren't doing meet and greets, but I saw you're including a meet and greet package for your tour and you always just try to meet as many fans as possible regardless. So what's it like to have such a dedicated fan base and what inspires you to like think of hosting these type of events?
Well, it's interesting. I don't take it for granted that I have a lot of amazing supporters, and I don't think of them as, I think a lot of people think of their fans as like a tool to get more popular or a tool to like uh you know be more successful or whatever, but
Mhm.
I really like from the very beginning of this have looked at fans as like friends more than anything, and like um it's a really special connection. And when I first started off when I was 15 years old, I was in kind of a hard spot. My mom had breast cancer. She's good now, but I was just kind of in my room and alone, and going on a website and starting to live stream and talk to people was like what kind of got me out of that and what started this whole journey for me. So like I have such a deep appreciation for the connection aspect of hanging out with the supporters. Like you guys are everything to me. Like that's the only reason I get to do this. So um yeah, I'm excited, and obviously like there is a meet and greet for the tour, but gonna try to meet I'm really gonna try to meet everyone who comes to the show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like you have such a genuine perspective on that and a good relationship with your fans. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what message do you want people to take from your mixtape? And are you planning any upcoming music videos with Jason?
Yeah. I would say I just want you guys to enjoy it, have fun, go on a drive, put it on. I hope that it makes its way into your lives in different ways where it's on in the background of some amazing moments, and it can kind of be a part of your memories of life. That's the dream, right? It's like actually impacting people. So like for me, I can think of certain songs that I was listening to a lot in one period, and when I think of it, I actually get like certain like smells and images from that era of life. So I'm hoping that like you guys can just intake this music, and I hope you like it. I hope you connect with it.
Awesome. Yeah. And I have a fun kind of question. Since you're a baseball fan, I was wondering if you've heard of the Savannah Bananas. They're like a baseball team that has planned choreography for
Yeah,
their games and stuff.
I love them. I'm actually friends with a guy named Jackson Olson who's on.
Oh yeah, I've seen his TikToks.
He's cool. I met him in like 2022, and we've stayed Instagram friends or whatever, TikTok friends or it's something. I don't know, but we like message each other once in a while, and it's so cool. I think they're doing a lot for the sport of baseball in terms of
Yeah.
just.
You should play a game with them.
Yeah, I'm so down. Please.
And I just have a couple of rapid fire questions.
Cool.
What's one song that you wish you wrote?
That's such a good question. I'm trying to think of the perfect answer.
What's your favorite song right now?
My favorite song now is I think it's called Devil. It's like Devil is Not a Lie or something like that by Tommy Richmond.
Mhm. Okay, cool. I haven't heard of that artist.
He has that song Million Dollar Baby that's out right now. Tommy,
Oh, awesome.
it's like his new single. Devil is a lie. That's my
Okay, I'll check it
favorite.
out.
I would say a song that I really wish I wrote is All of the Stars by Ed Sheeran. I love that song.
Oh, Ed is amazing. Such
It's
a good songwriter. And what's like the best piece of advice that you've received, or any piece of advice you've received recently?
I think just like listen to your gut is a big one. And yeah, like because sometimes I don't know, sometimes it's like everything looks and seems amazing, but your gut's saying, no, be careful here. This isn't it. Or then sometimes everything like is like, I don't know if this is it. And then your gut's like, yep, this is good. And you gotta pay attention to that stuff, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it's just like your intuition just knows, kicks in. And then last rapid fire question. If you were the ruler of another planet, what would you make your first law be for everyone?
Um, I would say everyone has to dance.
That would be amazing. Just like High School Musical every day.
Yes, everyone has to dance. I don't know. That seems like a good time.
Yeah.
And fun.
And then I just have one last question. So I heard you mentioned you auditioned for the Idea of You movie. Are you interested in exploring acting in the future? Or like what type of genres would you be interested in?
Definitely. Definitely interested in exploring acting. I think that that's would be a really cool step for me. And I think I'll be good at it. Like I feel like I can do it. And I was auditioning for a while, and then just stuff picked up at the studio and I was like, all right. I called my agent and I was like, thank you so much for getting me all this. And there was like two or three that I got far and I was like on the call with like the production and like all these people on the Zooms and they were interested in me. But it was just like, I don't know. I feel like you kind of got to choose like when I was locking in with this project in the studio, I was just sort of like, okay, I gotta I gotta just focus on this right now. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a lot when you're trying to memorize lines for an audition every day and do your best and all that. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to balance both of those. But I think down the line, I'm super interested in picking that back up.